Hello readers and viewers of BRUTUS magazine. My name is L.P.BEUTHAN and I'm a writer-director from Italy, currently based in Tokyo, Japan. Today I will do a short explanation about a project that I shot with BRUTUS, and then I will show the whole footage that we shot, and I'm gonna go through it and talk about it a little bit. So I wrote and directed the mock trailer for Dried Leaves for the November issue of BRUTUS about love in cinema. For the people that don't know what a mock trailer is, it's a trailer for a film that doesn't exist. When Inomata Yuki, the producer from BRUTUS, approached me to shoot something for the new issue, I was quite attracted to the challenge. Challenge because love is not actually something I explore usually in my films. This was supposed to be a love story. I mean, it is a love story, but it's also a story about closeness, human closeness. And it is inspired by autumn, the season. So while being beautiful and fragile, it also has a sense of melancholy to it, a kind of sadness, of a past love. So we have two characters that are not in love at the moment of the film, but they feel safe with each other. And I think now I will go through the footage and just talk a little bit about it. Okay, so here we see the film being exposed, but there's no image yet. The first scene that we shot was actually inside of an ex-clinic that we were permitted to use, and it was quite a lucky find. Here on screen now we see Tatsuyo Kuya, who is a very young director and actor, very talented, and here we see him again. There's also some frames of the storyboard you will see that were made in a very simplistic way. It just gave me and Sean a little bit of an idea of what we wanted to shoot, but we didn't rely too much on it while on set. Generally storyboards are very important, but in this case, we just, because it was a compilation of scenes, we just relied a little bit on the mood on set. And here we see the young Kim Gyuri, who's also very talented, a girl from Korea, an actress from Korea. And in these two shots, I think it's very important. You see the distance because they're very small in the shot, but you also have this sense of closeness because they're smiling at each other, right? So we have a sense of intimacy, but we also have the sense of distance between the two characters. That is what I wanted to convey. And the lighting is also great. The lighting director, the gaffer, Yusuke Nakada, was very good. And of course, also the assistant camera, Sora Shimizu, also was amazing. All three, the camera team was just a power team. We were very lucky to have them. And it's very interesting to see. There's some shots where you really tell the story just through the framing, and I think that's what makes film so interesting. For example, this shot where we see his reaction, we see Kuya's reaction, and we see the letters in the foreground. So we make a connection between why he is upset, even though we don't really understand it. And that's what I find so fascinating about film. It's kind of like puzzle pieces in a way. Like every time I think about a scene, I think, how can I tell the story only through the imagery? And here we have another angle that we shot for the editor, Nanako Kawasaki, who could play around and choose whichever she, of course together with me, whichever we thought was the best. The thing about 16mm that is quite complicated is you really have to take your time to get the exposure right? So, and we relied mostly on natural light, on the sunlight, because that's what looks better on film. And Shun really wanted to just work mostly with what we had, and that takes time. This shot was quite interesting because this was supposed to be way later in the day, but then we saw that the sun was going through the leaves in such a beautiful way and had this texture on the wall, and so we decided to shoot it earlier. And that's something else that's very important in film, is to be open to changes, right? To be open to just change your plan if you need to. So in this case, like I said, we were supposed to shoot these scenes way later, but the sun and the clouds were just looking so nicely that we decided to shoot it earlier. And I think that was a very good choice. Also because this house is inside of Tokyo, therefore there's buildings all around, and we're really chasing the sun because it would either disappear behind a cloud or behind buildings, and it was really like a chase against time. But I think we made it work very nicely. I think reflections are also very interesting. Showing characters through reflections, either mirrors or glass, can be a way to show that the character is either hiding something or that the character is revealing something. I think it's quite interesting. Also, the styling by Natsumi Sato was great because we worked together to create a style, to create different looks that would represent different moments of relationship. So using complementary colors and discordant colors, we try to really tell their closeness or the distance through the clothing, through the color of the clothing. And I think she did an amazing job in that. There was a shot right now of a little bit before of just the light and the movement of the trees and the shadows. And I think that's what we call B-roll in a way. It's not the main shot, but I think it's also important to give some body to the whole film. These shots were quite fun in a way because we really wanted to shoot it with this texture in the background, this trees moving, also to express their emotional state of the character. But once we started shooting, there was no wind at all, so there was no movement. And so the whole team just started shaking trees to make the trees, these shadows in the background move around and really convey what the characters are feeling inside. These shots were actually not planned. These were added because we had some more film left and a little bit more of time left. And I think these are quite nice. The whole sequence is quite nice. There's a little choreography going on, and we can see also here these characters, how they get distanced, right? So right here they're distancing each other, but then they end up being close again. So this whole film is exactly about that. It's just going back and forth. And these two had such great chemistry from the first moment that they met each other that I think it was very important. It would have not worked if they didn't have this chemistry going on. I was a little bit worried because they're not really experienced. So when I first met them, I was worried that maybe, I was worried that they would not be able to work it out, but they were, and they did an amazing job. And I think, we got very lucky with that. Here you have some more B-roll of the house. You can see how the house is a little bit destroyed, it's old, and I think that also helps to convey this idea of past love, of something that is gone and that cannot really come back, and that shows the sign of aging. B-roll is very important because B-roll can also it gives body to the image, to the whole film, of course, but I think if done right, it can also have a lot of storytelling in it and really help the narrative that you're trying to convey. Here we have some close-up shots of Yuri. We could call them beauty shots in a way, where it's the hair and makeup stylist Yoshikatsu Miyamoto did a great job to just give her this natural look, and her already being very beautiful from on her own. I think it really worked out very well, and the 60mm film just has this softness to it that just worked very nicely. It was very beautiful. So these shots are actually the last ones of the day. And you can see the sun kind of hiding behind the buildings. We had a very short time frame to shoot this scene, and so we were actually all kind of a little bit scared because the DP Shun and the two characters Kuya and Yuri, they could only just be in this little portion of the rooftop, and we were all kind of scared that they would fall off or something. But luckily nothing bad happened, and they actually had quite some good time. Here again we can see that Natsumi Sato did a great job to create these two colors that just really work nicely together and just express their closeness. We actually had left a lot of film at this stage. With film, you also have to be very careful of what you shoot. You really have to plan it out and know what you're shooting, because we just had one 400 feet film that's around 10 to 11 minutes of film time, of shooting time. And so I had a stopwatch and I would check how long every shot was, and we had just one take of every shot because I was so scared that we would end up without any film left, because you get just in the moment and you just start shooting, and it just goes on and on and on to get the emotion out, and time passes, and then the film is finished and you still have some scenes to shoot. Actually, the opposite happened here, where we had so much film left that we just experimented a little bit, and we tried to shoot this in a lot of different takes and just see afterwards with Nanako, the editor, which one would be the best. And we added these scenes here at the end that didn't end up making it in the final cut, for a simple reason that I thought this would kind of go against the film language that we had established. So everything was kind of static, and then the end shot would be on handheld, and this one is also handheld. So I thought it would go against the established language in the film. Well, this shot actually did make it, and I really like this one because I think it has a very strong metaphorical identity to it, like metaphorical idea to it, where you see these buildings in the background, and they're far away, there's distant, and so the two characters, it feels like they're living in their own bubble, they're living in their own reality, distant from the city that is in the background. And I really like this idea, and yeah, that's about it. So thank you very much to everybody who listened in and watched this whole video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and till next time, bye bye.